Welcome to Business Coaching Secrets with Karl Bryan. If you want to attract new high-end coaching clients, fill live events, and build a wildly profitable coaching practice where business owners pay, stay, and refer, you've come to the right place. In this podcast, Karl provides his keys to the kingdom for finding and signing high-paying clients and building the coaching business of your dreams. Here we go.
Well, hello, everybody, and another happy Monday to all of our LPW coaches. Welcome aboard to a motivational Monday, the pre-show for the big show with the man, the legend, the guy on top of the hill, King Karl Bryan. You there, pal?
I am, bud. What's going on, Road Dog? What's happening, my man?
Just getting ready for another week, staring at my to-do list in the face, and it's already intimidating me. How's that sound?
Love it. Good job, Road Dog. You're a mover and a shaker, man. I like to hear. What are we going to do here, bud? We're going to open up a couple lines.
Yeah, let's say hi to a couple of folks.
We're going to go in the Leo, we're coming for you. Or actually, no, hey. Jump it. It dropped. Okay, there's Len. Len's right beside him. Let's go to Len. There we go. Len. Oh, we're trying to say hi, Len, but you are on mute. You got to unmute us. There we go.
How are you all?
Yo, we're doing great, man. What's happening?
Excited to be here. This is the first one I've been able to attend, so thank you for the invitation. I'm ready to listen in.
Cool. Bingo, bango, bongo. So tell us, man, we got a ton of coaches here, over 100 of them. Give us. What are you doing this week, man? And inspire 100 coaches for us. What do you got? Put you on the spot, by the way.
Oh, me? Yeah. I mean, I would say, be ready to do whatever it takes to be successful. There's always, one more call to make, one more person to reach out to, one more client to provide value to. So I would say keep grinding and know that, the effort is worth it as you go forward.
I like that. And tell us about what's your week look like? What do you got cooking, man?
Yeah, I think I've got, this call today plus, 5 coaching conversations lined up for today with various clients. I've got some business development work set up for a couple of days going forward on Tuesday and Wednesday, and then some more client work on Thursday and Friday as well.
Awesome, man. Okay, cool. Well, good job. Good luck with your week, man. We got a few questions we're going to answer here. So, do you normally listen to the podcast? This is just the first one you've been live, or is this your first one in general?
This is the first one altogether, so I'm excited to listen in and be live. But certainly, I intend to participate going forward as well too.
Okay, man. I'm going to put you back on mute. Good stuff. That would be a perfect time to segue into Road Dog Knows What's Coming, guys. This is a Monday motivation, but really, what it's done, it's been going. I don't know how long we've been doing this, Road Dog. A better part of a year now. And just so you guys are clear, this is Road Dog and I having a little bit of fun. It's Monday motivation, but it's really a Q&A dealio, and then we turn it into the podcast. As you guys know, it's like online. People they want 2 forms of value. They want education, they want entertainment. So we try to be a little bit entertaining as well as educational. I think sometimes we do a great job. I think sometimes we flub it big time, don't we, Road Dog? But we do our best, bud. But anyway, so just so you guys know, we're not here to be like hugely professional. Is not the goal for Mondays. It's to have a little bit of fun, go back and forth. Road Dog takes the piss out of me. We do that kind of thing. So, is that right, Road Dog? Is that the plan, man?
I think we really should do like a live video stream in tuxedos one time, though. I think that would be pretty awesome.
We talked about doing that a Friday night with Road Dog and KK sitting there drinking beers on the balcony, bud. We got to get that done.
That would be fun. I like beer. It's a true story.
You do like beer, and I like beer too. And everybody wants to see us drink beer because we drink a couple beers, and then we're even more obnoxious. Okay, hang
That's
on.
right.
Let's continue here down the road. Who are we going to? How about Richard? Richard, we are coming for you. Oh, Richard, you're self-muted, man. If you want to say hi, you got to unmute yourself.
I'm unmuted.
Oh, there we go. Richard, what's happening?
Hey, good morning. Good morning. Well, it's a profitable week coming up. That's for sure.
That's what we want to hear. Tell us about it. What do you got?
Lots of phone calls. It's finding ways to get to clients that otherwise, they're out there somewhere. I just have to find them, I guess, is the right way to say that.
It, man. Lift up some rocks. That might be a good question, Road Dog, right there, man. Okay, cool. So you're ready to rock, though, Richard? You got a big week ahead of you, man. You're going to pick up that phone and start punching that keyboard and getting in front of some folks? Is that the plan?
I am, because there's no networking going on anywhere. As a matter of fact, I just got told this morning that I haven't worn a mask since day one, and I don't believe in any of that stuff. And I just found out that can't even go into a grocery store starting Wednesday in North Carolina. Everything is mandatory. So these slave pushers are really, well, enough of the political campaign. So I've got to figure out ways to get out there.
I got you. I will reserve comment, man, but I hear what you're saying. Believe me, man. We're all getting hypnotized, brother. But anyways, all right, cool, man. We're gonna put you back on mute. Stay safe there, folks.
The only controversial thing we're going to start here, Karl, is maybe talking about, I don't know, Tom Brady or the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Buddy, you know I love Tom Brady. You know, if I was a woman, Tom Brady be my boy. Giselle or whatever her name is. I'd kick her butt out of that bed. I'd be hanging out with Tom, my boy, TB12. Okay, speaking of TB12 and what we got cooking, ready to rock, brother? Or do you want to open up somebody else? You good, man?
No, let's get going. We've got a ton of questions here, dude, and I want to get right to it because I've got about 6 or 7 lined up here, and I know the way that you operate. We'll probably get through about 1.5.
Okay,
so for those of you that are new, by the way, Karl likes rabbit holes. Like it's not even that he likes them; he like seeks them out and deliberately goes down them. It is something special to watch. So. Just hold tight here, everybody, just for a second as we cue this up for the podcast. Karl, you got your cat all under control this week. We're good?
Yeah, cat. Oh, my God. I hope the cat does. Anyways, let's rock, dude. Let's do this, man.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Business Coaching Secrets. It's your boy, Road Dog, here with the man of the hour, King Karl. You there, pal?
Yo, Road Dog. What's happening, my man?
Well, just gearing up for another big week and looking forward to diving into that scary place, probably one of the most frightening places on the planet, the Karl Bryan brain. What's going on inside of that place?
But man, you know what? I was jet skiing yesterday. So if you want to know what's going on inside my brain, there's a little bit of fog because I was hanging out in the water with the sun shining down at our mutual bud's house, old Bieber's dad. That boy is a laugh and a half. So that's what I was doing, man. But I'm ready to rock. A little bit of who knows what's going to happen today, Road Dog. I get a little bit of.
It's like a Friday night with Karl Bryan. You just never know what's going to happen. And I again appreciate the invite, my friend. That's amazing. I hate the water, so that makes sense. Anyways, on that note, we do have some business to attend. So we've got a good variety of questions here today, my friend. Let's just lead right off the top. So here's a question. When approaching a sale or a JV, so that'd be a joint venture for those of you that are not aware, when approaching a sale or a joint venture partner, are you aggressive, like, let's get this done? Or are you passive, like, it doesn't really matter if you agree or not because I have lots of fish in the sea. What's your take on that?
Is that the actual wording? Is that exactly the way it was worded?
That's exactly how it was worded.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I like it. Okay, so what would I say? Approaching a JV, are you going to be aggressive? Look, at the end of the day, you got your personality, so you want to stay true to that, no doubt, because again, it's that's pretty obvious. You got to take control. What are they like? You'll notice the poorest countries in the world are also the most religious. Like Burundi, Niger, Bangladesh, etc. They're the most religious, and then you think, okay, well, why is that? And they just kind of, they just throw it out to God's will. It feels like, and it's like, I'm just going to live this life as a, to serve, and then in my next life, I'm going to come back and, really kick some butt, whatever that is, right? And you may believe in that, by the way. That's fantastic, and go for it. I would say I would like to take a little bit more control than that, without question. And I use that as an example. Somebody who's going to be too overly passive and kind of throwing it to the stars and the universe, I don't think you're going to get too far. Maybe a great metaphor for this is like, okay, Road Dog, we jump in the car, and we are going to get from New York to LA, right? We know, look, there are going to be accidents. We're going to hit bad weather, detours, whatever that might be. But the destination does not change. So we're dogmatic with getting there. And, we've got the address where we're starting, the red arrow, you are here, and we know exactly where we want to get to. So we're dogmatic with that, but we're totally flexible with the approach. Like if we hit the gas and we're going 100 miles an hour the entire way, and we ignore the signs as we're moving along, what's going to happen? Like we're gonna crash is what's going to happen. We're going to go off the side of a cliff, possibly at the worst result. So want to be a little bit careful with that. So you're dogmatic with the result. Look, I'm getting this joint venture. I'm getting this client. I don't care what happens. But you've got to, is the guy getting a little bit more standoffish? Is the guy talking faster? Is the guy talking slower? You want to match. You want to mirror. You want to follow those very basic. I don't think this is the time for, the sales 101, but you should, if you're not very good at sales, what you should be doing is you should be reading some book on sales so that you understand it, right? Like I'll meet somebody who sucks at sales, and then I'll say, okay, well, how many books have you read on sales? Understanding that this is critical, right? You're not going to be successful in business or coaching if you're not able to get deals done. Well, if you're there telling me how horrific you are at sales, I'll just say, yeah. So how many books have you read on sales in the last 90 days? I think you guys know instinctively what that answer is, and this is why they're not getting there. So again, take control, right? The religious countries just kind of throwing it out to God's will. I don't think that's the best approach. I think it's, taking control and improving the stuff you need to be improving. So, and also, you want to get the deal. Just strengthen your internal resolve. Like again, you're going from LA to New York. You're totally dogmatic with the result and where we're getting to, but you're willing to be, again, accept the detours and the accidents and maybe some turnoffs, etc. So that's what I'd say to that is that you got to use your spidey senses, but don't come away from who you are as a person, right? If you're a passive person by nature, and then you're suddenly starting, you're acting all aggressively, I just feel like you're going to be totally out of it's going to be obvious to the other person that you're out of alignment. You're going to be out of alignment. So I think that's going to get you a bad result. So I like the question, and my instincts are to say that the person that has asked this is more on the passive side, because I don't see that question the way it was worded coming from somebody who's really on the front foot. So I think that you should just address that and be very, very careful that you're just kind of too ho-hum, because that's not going to get her done. So I don't know, Road Dog, that's what I'd say, man. What do you think?
Well, I think it's a pretty controversial stand that all of a sudden we're going to get some emails. I would say this, okay, for those people, like my journey, that this is going to go a bit. Now, let me go down the rabbit hole just for a quick second. My journey into faith is recently sort of reconnected. And the only thing I'll say there is for those, and I hear what you're saying, and it drives me nuts too. And people are just like, oh, God's going to handle everything. All I'm going to say is, well, no, he's actually not. He's going to line everything up for you. You still need to do the work. So if you truly believe in what you're doing and your cause and your purpose on this planet, you have an obligation to fulfill that to God. So there's me pulling Karl out of the fire with anybody in the God world, and you're welcome. So, because otherwise the hate mail could come in. Anyways, here's one that is a very safe topic for you, and one that you have spent a ton of time on. You just talked about studying and learning about sales and stuff. Just before I even ask the question, can you tell me like the amount of time you've spent on accounting over the past 12 months?
The last 3 years, it would be a little bit mind-numbing, a little bit eye-watering. In fact, I just finished a book, co-writing a book, Accounting 101 for Business Coaches. how to find your high-end coaching fees prior to starting with your new high-end coaching clients, which is with the editor right now. In fact, it's been with the editor a little too long, quite frankly. But anyways, that's coming out, so I don't know, man. But I've put in my I don't know if I've got my 10,000 hours in, but I have got my 1,000 hours in very handily. But it's just one of those subjects, Again, mastery is something that I talk about, that I only talk about, but I try to demonstrate in my own life. And just, I tell you, because again, I'm a sales and marketing guy, very instinctively, very organically. Sales and marketing, it just comes. I grew up in a family of selling advertising. We owned a newspaper. My dad literally sells advertising to this day. And so accounting is accounting and small business finance is something that doesn't come naturally, but it's something I have a passion for. And it's for my own personal mastery. I felt like this is something that I need to understand at a very high level. So if you're wondering why Road Dog's asking that, and why I've spent so much time on it, just that personal mastery. So yeah, Road Dog, I don't know if I answer, man, but 1,000 hours plus, bud.
It's interesting because you have taken this on, which is wild. Like, talk about one of the most boring subjects on the planet, like accounting. No offense to any accountants, but like, holy smokes. And you were diving straight in. So the question here is, what are the best and quickest ways to solve a cash flow problem with a client? So I just wanted to frame that up for everybody, knowing that you all know Karl as the marketer, the sales guy, and can solve any problem inside of that. The amount of study that he's done inside of the past this year, saying 3 years, like, it's insane. So when you look at that now, again, the beauty is you're going to be able to tie it into everything else. But like, what it would be the quickest way to solve a cash flow problem with a client?
Okay, I'll tell you, cash. First of all, what probably got them into that. You gotta go and diagnose the problem. Don't assume that it's just right here. Well, with that being said, let me answer this two ways. One, with 100% certainty, there's going to be 5 specific areas that you can get them out of this cash flow crunch. And no doubt you guys have heard many a times, if you've been a business coach for a while, you've been successful with it, you work with a lot of business owners, you will hear them say with ridiculous predictability, I've got this profitable business, but I don't know where my cash is. Why when I look in my bank account is the thing empty, but then my accountant's telling me I've got this profitable business. I just don't understand it. So if you've seen that dynamic, with 100% certainty, the cash will be in one of 5 areas. You've got revenues, very straightforward. You got to up your revenues, pretty obvious. You've got your expenses, which again is obvious, but I would put that up there where, again, the way that I describe it is that people, going to your expenses and reducing them, managing them, spending some strategic time to control them is up there with returning the library book, just not where anybody spends any time. As a good coach, you've got to help them manage their psychology. And like you just said, Road Dog, it is a topic that is insanely boring and lightweightish, but you got to take them there and you got to make it happen. Again, remember, LA to New York, you're dogmatic with where you're going, but you got to be flexible in your approach, right? And remember, people want to be educated, but they also want to be entertained. So try to do it, as you're coaching them, you want to make sure that they like you and you're going over some fun stuff. The bottom line is you've got to manage those expenses. So we've got 2 of them, revenues, expenses. The other 3, accounts receivable, will be a huge one. Okay, the number of business owners out there who are, they're taking on the work, they're fulfilling the work, they're paying commission on the work, they're paying their staff to fulfill on the work, and then they're not collecting their money is mind-boggling. It's incredible. But anyway, so accounts receivable, you got to go right there. And when you normally look at accounts receivable, like, it basically lives in a balance sheet, and it's like a number. Like, accounts receivable is 100,000. That is not good enough. It needs to be itemized big time. So again, if you have a client, they got a cash flow problem, go straight to their accounts receivable, but not just the number, but then an itemized look at the number. Like, let's say there's 10 people that owe them $10,000 each, and that's where the $100,000 comes from. And then we also have to know how aged it is. Is it 15 days old, 30 days old, 60 days old, 90 days old, 120 days old, and beyond? Because at some stage, you got to accept if they're not going to collect this money, it's got to become a bad debt. A little bit of an X factor here, guys. Well, what happens if it lives on your balance sheet and accounts receivable? This is basically how you go about paying taxes, right? Well, guess what? Let's say there's $30,000 of that $100,000 that you're not going to collect. They are now paying tax on the $30,000 they're not going to pay, or they're not going to collect, sorry. And then where does income tax come from? Cash, money straight out of your bank account. So it's like a double, triple, quadruple whammy. So anyway, so accounts receivable, very important. So we're at 3. We got revenues, we got expenses, we got accounts receivable. Also inventory. You got to look in inventory. A number of clients that, a number of business owners that have got, horrendous amount of inventory and it's mismanaged. Not only is it mismanaged, but then they buy more of it. And then it's like, well, hang on, but we had, the inventory is just in a box underneath the box, underneath the box, underneath the box. So their inventory is the place. And the other one, and this one is a little bit one that people don't, I've talked about it on different podcasts if you've heard it, but again, the importance of it, I couldn't go over it enough. It's accounts payable. Okay, people, how many times do you hear somebody, oh, I just like to pay up front because I don't want to be in debt, right? Again, this is stupidity on I don't know, it's stupidity on steroids, but it's just, that's not the way to run a business, right? Like if you buy something from Apple tomorrow, they don't pay you for 91 days, right? One of the most cash flush businesses, if not the most cash flush business on the planet, and they don't pay you for 90 days. Why don't they pay you for 91 days? Because the way that they see it and their math says that by the time they, basically put the iPhone together, package it up, send it out, it's 91 days before they have money in their bank account for that iPhone, and that's how they establish it. So that's the way they do it. And not to mention they've got the power to be able to say this is the way we're doing it, and people will accept it because they're an amazing account, clearly. So anyways, but accounts payable. So what am I saying? Just picture this. Imagine a business, think of accounts receivable and then accounts payable, where they're not collecting their money. And before I continue, I want you to understand that it's often the same business that does both of these, where they don't collect their money and accounts receivable, runs significantly too high. It's not managed well, not managed at all in some cases, which is asinine. And then accounts payable, they want to pay everybody up front, and as soon as they get a bill, they shoot the money out and they just accept the terms. Like when you decide you're going to work with somebody, when your coaching client decides that they're going to work somebody, they've got the ability to negotiate the terms of the deal. Like I want 30 days, I want 60 days, I want 90 days. If I pay up front, I want a 5% discount, that kind of thing. Very important. Like if you don't get a discount, you don't pay up front, generally as a rule, right? Think about that. But lots of people are paying up front and then not getting a discount, right? So anyway, so that's another place where, again, it's not just accounts payable is a mistake that a lot of business owners completely mismanage. So the bottom line is you've got a business owner, it's got a profitable business, but a cash flow problem. There are exactly 5 areas and only 5 areas where you'll find the money: revenues, expenses, accounts receivable, inventory, and accounts payable. But now I want to answer a different. So that's the tactical, step by step. Here it is. But now, how did they get into this position? How do you build a profitable business and then have no cash? It's just a sexy, delusional stuff. Like how often, you got a business owner who's got a cash flow problem, and then the Facebook advertising guy shows up, and they actually see that as a solution to their cash flow problem because they don't understand where the cash flow problem lives, like i.e. accounts receivable. Well, if you have a cash flow problem at $500,000, you're going to have a significantly greater problem at $1 million. Okay? It's like, again, the equivalent, the metaphor that I use, it's like you're in a boat with a hole in it. It's like going further out into the lake to patch it up. Like how intelligent would that be? That's the equivalent of having a cash flow problem and trying to solve it with Facebook ads. Prior to diagnosing what the problem is, you've got to go and understand that. Remember the little red arrow, you are here. If you're looking at a map at a national park or the ski resort or whatever, there's a map there. The most important part of that map times 10 is that little red arrow, you are here. You've got to establish that. So anyways, that's what I'd say there, Road Dog. And also, like growth is saying yes, but success is saying no. You've really just both for you as the business coach trying to build your own company, you've got to get really, really good at saying no. Frankly, and the more I'm learning about it, and I'm on this journey with you guys, and I've well and truly over the last number of years, I can't begin to tell you how much I've learned. I see saying no as almost a superpower now. Carl, can I interview you? No. I'm building my company, right? I'm not looking to become the most popular guy in the world. I'm not looking to get on the front page GQ. I don't know why I'm saying that. That was never gonna. Anyways, with a big nose and a pot belly, that was never gonna happen. Anyways, but you know what I mean? Like basically, it's no, 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 no. And that being said, it's not that I say no to everything. I start with no, and then maybe you can move me to yes. But again, getting really good at saying no. Success is what you say no to. Growth is what you say yes to. Success is what you say no to. Think of what we just talked about. A business that is growing, they got a profitable business, their revenues are growing, but then they're not profitable. This is how they get into this kind of scenario. So anyways, yeah, that's how I'd answer that one, Road Dog. Just two ways, but I want to make sure that everybody gets the psychology. Remember, the chokehold on any business, mine, yours, Road Dog, Coke, Pepsi, Ford, you name it, Apple, Amazon, is the psychology of the owner. Right? Like again, Jeff Bezos is Jeff Bezos because of his psychology. Make no mistake about it. Yes, brilliant businessman, surrounded himself with unbelievable people, but his psychology is strong times a he will go down as the great of the great of the great. He's going to make Steve Jobs. And I love Steve Jobs. As I sit here in my office, I literally have a photo of Steve Jobs I got my family and whatnot. I got Steve Jobs in the middle. That's the level that the way that I hold this guy. I love him. Got Michael Jordan up there too, by the way. But anyway, so that's Jeff Bezos, though, is going to go down as an absolute freaking business genius. The way that he has approached it, like that might just, again, he doesn't give this might be appropriate here, Road Dog, like where Jeff Bezos, he doesn't care about profit. Okay, profit this, profit that. Profit is the holy grail. You hear this all the time, and it's very important. Make no mistake about it, especially with a smaller business. But what does Jeff Bezos concentrate on? Cash flow. He concentrates on cash flow, free cash flow on a monthly basis. That is how Amazon has become Amazon. Nothing to do with profit. I don't even know if he's ever had literally a profitable month ever, right? So basically cash flow is what he concentrates on. And kind of, you think about it, it's significantly more in depth and complex than this. And if you like what I'm talking about, I would encourage you to go and study Jeff Bezos a little bit and read their letters to shareholders and whatnot. Unbelievable learnings in there. Just blows my mind. I love it. Oh shoot, I lost my train of thought, Road Dog. Gross profit, cash flow. Oh shoot. Road Dog, I lost my train of thought, man. Sorry.
All good. I got a couple things for you here, anyways.
Okay, you go. Maybe I'll think of it. Oh my god.
So as you're talking about all the different like cash flow and all that stuff, like can you just sort of explain the difference? Because I think a lot of people get this confused. The difference between profit and cash flow.
Well, okay. Once again, this is like rabbit hole on steroids, but just profit. Okay, so look, profit is I buy something for $10. I sell it for 20. You got a profitable. Your gross your margin on that individual item is going to be fantastic, and it's just a matter of how many you can sell. But on a monthly basis, this is what I was going to say. You just reminded me. Thank you. What Bezos thinks, and this is relevant to answer what you just asked me, is that you could always come back and bring back expenses and hurl things in. It's like cash flow is challenging to build up. This is, driving, having ads, driving traffic, turning that traffic into sales. So you've got X amount, like, your cash flow. People, it's like you buy Heinz ketchup and so do I. Why? Because we've done it for 100 years. Well, my wife literally yesterday, I was at Bieber's dad's, right? And he's got these unbelievable shoes. And I'm like, oh my God, these are the coolest shoes ever. And I'm like, baby, you got to buy these for me. And he's like, oh yeah, I got them at the mall. And I'm like, oh, we go to the mall. And she's like, oh, forget that. He goes, I've got an Amazon order coming. I'll just add, or I've got a list of things that I'm buying from Amazon. I'll just add that. And I go, oh, okay. And in my head, I'm like, well, it'll be here probably quicker anyway, right? Like, so in other words, we've gotten into the habit as a family that we just go to Amazon, we buy from Amazon. It's comfortable. We know it. We trust it, again. And she's got a list member because everything is available. Like in her head, do you think she's thinking, I wonder if those shoes will be available on Amazon? Amazon has freaking got everything, right? Again, because they built this up over time. So think about that from cash flow, Road Dog, right? Like it's not just cash flow. Cash flow comes from what? It's people buying into your business, getting into the habit of buying from you, and then trusting that you're going to, not only trusting, but knowing that you've got absolutely everything right there. And again, and if, in a pinch, if it was absolutely mandatory that sales stagnated big time, and he wasn't going to be able to build the business greater, which he hasn't even got started. If you listen to Bezos and what he says, he hasn't even got started at where he's going. You could always peel back and save a bit of money here and save a bit of money there, and the R&D and the programmers and everything else could always be cut back because it's at that level now, right? So they'd be profitable instantaneously just by stopping all the R&D and all the growth of the website and whatnot. So anyways, that's the answer to that one, man. And just cash flow over profit. That is, that's like back in the day. Remember, they told us all to drink milk, right? Wear a mustache, and now we all know that milk is, not probably the healthiest thing in the world to be drinking. It's a little bit like that profit cash flow. Jeff Bezos has changed the game there, man. Big time, big time.
So, where did you Photoshop Steve Jobs into your family picture?
What's that? What about
like when you Photoshop Steve Jobs into your family picture, you put him straight in the middle? Is that what happened?
Yeah, he's a little taller than I am, so I put him right behind me.
And is Air Jordan, do you have him doing the dunk above you guys, or how is he in the picture? Where was this picture?
That's the photo I'm looking at. How'd you know? There you go, man. That's exactly the way it looks. Instead of the moon, it's just like, Michael Jordan in his silhouette. That's right there. And then Steve Jobs standing there a little bit taller than I am. And
a little bit. When he's sitting down, maybe. Anyways. In GQ, really, that's the one that comes to mind, hey? But of all the magazine covers you think that you would possibly put your mug on, GQ is the one that comes to mind?
Rolling Stone. I should have said Rolling Stone. There you go. I thought of that after I said it. I was like,
well, there you go. Because if some of the Stones themselves could grace that cover, I'm pretty sure you'd be fine. We should almost do a poll. A poll question should be if Karl Bryan was on a magazine cover, what magazine cover would it be? I think that would be an amazing poll question.
Short.
Anyways.
There you go.
I just have a question for you in when you're talking about terms, because you mentioned it in terms of and when you pay up front, don't bother paying up front unless you get a discount. So and again, I don't know if this is a stupid question or not, but obviously you're going to negotiate. It's all about negotiation, right? So no matter what you do, you've got 10 suppliers, you can whittle it down to maybe 3 or 4, and you're going to say, look, I'm going to give you more orders. Would you recommend that they I guess negotiate for a bigger upfront discount or a longer term, or is that really dependent upon each individual business?
Yeah, that's okay. Great question, by the way. Little red arrow, you are here. All right, again, what's the dynamic of their business? Do you know what I mean? Again, are they cash flush or are they challenged? You're going to build something. Imagine you're building a house. Imagine how much it's going to cost you. Let's call it $400,000. It's going to cost you to build the house. You can see how this is a business that, cash is at an absolute premium. So they're going to either need to have deep pockets, or they're going to need time is going to be more valuable in that instance than cash up front. So the little red arrow, you are here, would be the answer. Every situation will be slightly. But I'll tell you this, what is most important, and again, I'll go to psychology, the first word that you use, negotiation. Nobody negotiates it. It's oh, okay, so somebody puts something in front of you, and it's that's it? You got to learn negotiation is a skill. If you want to be successful in business, you got to have it. No better negotiator on the planet ever than Steve Jobs, probably. So there you go.
Beauty. Okay. It's just one that was sort of popped into my mind. I think a lot of people are forgetting that when they're dealing with some of these businesses, they're dealing with far too many suppliers, and probably just by consolidating that and increasing the volume and the order volume, that they can probably ask for a larger discount as well, right? So I think that's especially during these times right now, where, let's not kid ourselves, I think with the amount of businesses going out of business, and you still working with somebody that's in business, I think they can negotiate a little bit more freely these days. Anyways,
Road Dog, I want to give you a tangible example of that awesome high five. So okay, let's just go to a real simple business we could all understand. Let's go to a hair salon, okay? You go into the hair salon, what do they sell? They sell gel, they sell wax, shampoo, conditioner. Not only do they sell them, but they also supply them because, they got to wash and shampoo your hair, etc. Right? Well, because they're sweethearts, remember the yes and no. You got to get good at saying no. Well, because I don't need to meet the hair salon owner on average, I just want you to picture it's normally her, sweetheart, super personable person. Otherwise, they wouldn't be owning a hair salon. Well, somebody comes in with the new beauty, shampoo, conditioner, and they've been in business for 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Well, because they don't have a strategy, and of course they're sweethearts and saying too much yes and not enough no, they end up with like 5 different suppliers in small amounts, and picture like a retail space, of different, like 5 different labels of shampoo, conditioner, gel, wax, etc. And in her head, she's thinking, well, I want to provide selection for everybody. Well, okay, if you've got 5 suppliers, what do you got? You got 5 invoices, you got 5 deliveries, you got 5 phone calls, you got 5 people trying to chase more business from you. So imagine how much time that sucks away from her, right? And the staff member. And now we're buying. So if we're buying from 5 folks instead of 1 folks, or one supplier, we're not showing loyalty to anybody. They walk into your store, they see this, they know this, right? And so you're not showing loyalty, so you don't have anybody, fully on side. So a significantly better game plan is to work out, okay, who's the best? Who's got exactly what we need? And by the way, who operates at a higher level, in terms of service and whatnot? Go to that one person, get them on the phone, negotiate, say, look, I've got this dog's breakfast. I've got 5 different suppliers. I've got this. I've got that. I've got this delivery, that phone call, that email, this invoice to pay. It's crazy. I want to pick one, and you're at the top of the list. I was wondering, so if I start buying from you in larger quantity, will you give me a better deal? What sort of terms can we negotiate? If I pay up front, what kind of discount would you be willing to do? And by the way, and then what ends up happening, so then you negotiate, you get your terms. You've shown loyalty to somebody. You'll find suppliers like that. They've got all kinds of, seconds, disregarded stocks, freebies, like a new XYZ comes out. So they get all kinds of freebies to give away to get the hair salons, addicted, whatever. I don't know, addicted to it is the right words, but, using it, liking it, and then purchasing it in the future. Well, now all of a sudden, guess who they go to? They go to the folks who show loyalty. Psychology, right? So anyway, so that's an example, but really maybe what I want at the beginning of that, I explained, you got 5 suppliers, you got 5 people to deal with, 5 people trying to upsell you, 5 people stopping in saying hello, 5 deliveries, and on it goes. It's ridiculous. And then if you speak to somebody who's, owns a hair salon, they'll tell you that they struggle to get off the tools. So that means they're basically cutting the hair. So they've got this other dynamic where they've got customers for X amount of time, and because they can't say no, they continue to cut the hair, but they can never run the business. And this is how they end up with this dog's breakfast that I just described. So that's the way you want to be doing it, Road Dog, exactly.
Okay, beauty. Something a little bit more simplistic, but I really appreciate the question, so I thought, why not throw it out there? What should my phone message say?
Actually, I agree. High five to whoever asked that one. What should my phone? So this is a business coach leaving, having a so I've called my business coach and then they didn't answer. What does the voice message say? So first of all, I tell you what not to say times 10. Number of times I'll phone a business coach and they they don't answer. The voicemail goes and they go, "Hey, it's Dave Smith. And I'm busy helping clients right now. Back to you as soon as I can." Or even worse than that is they say that, and then they say, "I'm very busy, so I'll do my best to get back to you within 48 hours. And what they're trying to do is bring across that they're super busy and they're helping all these businesses. Well, let me tell you, as a successful business coach, when you sit down, and those that are, when I say successful, like a coach that's really, crushed it and signed up a lot of clients over a short period of time, or done a live event and then gone and done the follow-up appointments, they will literally say this to you, and if they don't, they're thinking it, and they go, let's just say it's me, and I'm sitting with the business owner. They go, "Karl, well, that's great, man. We're going to sign you up now. Here's my concern. You're so busy, and you're getting more and more successful, clearly. Once we get going, you're not going to have time for me." That's the conversation they have in their head, or they literally say it to you. Well, they tried to call you, and what did you just say? I'm not available. I'm helping people grow their businesses. You just poured gasoline on their fears, their concerns of you. Horrific message to do. So don't do that, whatever you do. And certainly don't say that I'll get back to you within 48 hours. And, I wouldn't say that I'll be back to you within 60 minutes either, because that makes you sound like a lightweight. I would go one of two directions, and this is a very gray situation. This isn't a black and white one. What's your personality? Red arrow, you are here. Tell me a little bit about you, and I'd be able to help you further with how you should answer that. But I think I'd say something punchy like, hey, my name's Karl Bryan, author of, the #1 bestseller, Accounting for Business Coaches, How to Find Your High-End Coaching Fees Prior to Starting with Your High-End Coaching Client. Not available at this time, but do me a favor, leave a message, and if it's urgent, send me a text, and I'll get straight back to you. I don't know. That's I put that on the quote unquote punchy side of things. But I think what I would do is if you phoned, I want you to picture you phoned Jeff Bezos, right? You phoned Steve Jobs back in the day, didn't answer. Like, what would their messages say? And I don't even, I don't even know. You'd have to phone me to tell me what mine says. I don't think it's anything. I don't even have a message because frankly, I don't want people calling me. And I'm not giving to get my phone number, right? Like Road Dogg, you know what I mean? It's my phone number is not something anybody's getting, right? Because my family's got it. Road Dogg's got it. My buds have got it. But anyway, I don't even know what my message says. Let's put it that way. But I assume if I phone Jeff Bezos, I have a hard time believing he's like, hey, Jeff Bezos here, richest man on the planet. I'll be a trillionaire in about 18 months. It's just not happening, right? It's like if he has a message, that says, hey, I'm Jeff Bezos, not available, leave a message. And if you really need me, text me. I think that's what he would say. So I think that's what I would go one of those, something punchy or something real direct. My name's Karl Bryan. I'm not available. Leave me a message. And if it's urgent, text me. So I don't know. And then email. And even I've seen this as well, email signatures. Like I just said a second ago, again, getting my phone number. You got to arm wrestle me to get my phone number because it's not something I want people having. You want to get a hold of me, right? You send me an email and I'll get to you. No problems, right? So in your email signature, I think might be perfect follow up to that. You do your email signature would be different. But again, careful not to fall on the side of trying too hard. But I think there should be, if you've got a book, it should be in your signature. If you've got a program and a call to action, it should be in your signature. If you've got a membership site, it should definitely be in your signature, right? So you're kind of that's like a little bit of an advertisement right there at the bottom, and it gives you a chance to say something, again, with us and our coaches, I can find any business owner $100,000 in 45 minutes without them spending $1 on marketing or advertising, just right there. And if they're interested, and I don't know, I wouldn't put a calendar link. I definitely wouldn't put my phone number. I feel like, again, if Jeff Bezos sent you an email, what are the chances of the phone number being right? Like zip, zilch, it's not happening. So I feel like you follow on that side of it. So, yeah, Road Dogg, I think that's how I'm going to answer that one, man. It's gray, not black and white, but definitely, I'll tell you what not to do. Remember, a true mentor can tell you what not to do. I think that's very important. Don't leave a message telling them how busy you are and how you're growing all these great businesses, and that's why you're not available. That is really insanely dumb.
I think, Karl, yours is just the mailbox you have reached has not been set up.
I swear to God, I get no idea.
No, actually it's not. But yours, I believe, is just your mailbox is full, and you don't ever bother to go in there and delete any.
My dad, he's like, I left you a message. I'm like, Dad, I'm not. When's the last time I listened to a message, man? It's just not happening. I don't even know what that would look like. So you'd be right, bud. No idea. So there you go.
The funny thing is, it's like I think of mine, and it's like for me, I leave my personality as my message too, right? I'm just like, listen, go ahead and don't bother leaving me a message because I'm not going to listen to it. Just go ahead and shoot me.
You say that?
Yeah.
Oh God. See, I think. Look, guys, think about you call Road Dogg, popular dude, clearly busy, clearly successful. That's what he says. Like, I don't know if I go that far, by the way, but that your personality. It's again, and by the way, Road Dogg. This is just who he is. You sit and drink a beer with him. You listen to him every week, right? Like very, that's just the way he is, tongue in cheek. He could pull that off, right? If you don't have that personality, don't try pull that off. But if you do, there you go. But I guess I've never phoned you. I've never phoned. Again, we text, man, and if I phone you, you answer. So there you
go. And speaking of pulling things off, you're talking about hairspray and you're talking about gel, two things you've never touched. Let's not kid ourselves. You stockpiled moose back in the 90s.
Buddy, if you saw my hair right now, I am a gong show. I have not had a haircut in 120 days. I got hockey hair happening.
So are you just
very real and tangible way, and my wife hates it.
Are you going for the flow? Like, and when you cut it, are you going to cut it into a mullet? Like, this is need to know information.
Buddy, I could do a mullet right now. No worries.
Oh my God.
Shave the sides a little. I've been wearing a hat, man. Last time I saw you, I was wearing a hat. I probably should have taken that thing off.
Like you got to keep in mind, but like we're in mid-July right now as we're recording this. Halloween's not that far off. Like this is you're prime, bud.
Frankenstein, dude. Frankenstein.
Oh my God.
That's how I'm looking. All right, let's go, brother.
Okay, follow-up poll question. What should Karl be for Halloween? Okay. Next question. Okay, the next one here. This is good. This is I can actually relate somewhat to this. I'm told I'm a great networker. I did the math the other day, and it worked out I'm not that good. The results are not impressive. Any advice for this person?
There we go. This is like a Road Dogg type of person. There you go. I like it. I'm a great networker, but the math don't work. Okay. First of all, good. Okay. I would think everybody listening, like, here's a smart thing to do. Again, confuse being busy with being successful. Be very, very careful of that. So, again, do your math and make sure this stuff is all panning out. There's a lot of people out there, and they're like liked by everyone, but respected by no one. I think as I say that, you guys could probably think of people immediately. In business, look, that's not going to get her done. So it's great to be, the super person and all that sort of stuff, but you got to, you got to be able to put your value out there and not be scared to say it. I would just tell you that here's my take on here's my take on it in terms of how are you going to make networking. This may or may not help, but this will help somebody who's looking to use networking as a strategy with 100% certainty. You got to think Santa versus Grinch. When I go to I won't go to a networking function. Well, first of all, again, and I hope this doesn't, but like, I'm just not going to BNI. It's not happening. The end. There would have to be something real fun going on. In fact, Road Dogg, you and I, the last networking event I went to was with you, and I think there's a huge business lesson in there. What was it? They were giving us 2 free beers. Road Dogg sends me a text. He goes, "Hey man, there's these guys down. I just moved to city that we live in, Kelowna. Road Dogg had just moved here just previous to that." I'm like, cool. So in my head, I'm like, other business guys and gals that like to have a couple beers, and just the fact that it was beer immediately in my head made it feel like this wasn't going to be the pokey sit down, wear a name badge, stand up, do a 30-second elevator pitch. Like, that's just not happening for me. But 2 beers, we went, and I was like, yeah, man, sign me up. We went. We had a great time. We haven't gone back. But that wasn't, that's not strategic. We've talked about it, and no doubt we will again. Just, it hasn't been on the cards. But so what I'm getting at is that you're not going to get your highest end coaching clients at the BNI meeting. That being said, if you're just getting going, I think it's a fine place to go, and you could always hit a home run, and there's always referrals given out. So I'm not saying don't do it, but I'm just saying, is that going to be the number one strategy that I'm using? It's going to take me to riches. I don't think that's going to get you there. But again, stranger things have happened. If that's your jam, that's your jam. That's great. But I think what I just said a minute ago, going to one that's a little more loosey-goosey, I feel like more successful type entrepreneurs would go to that versus something that feels stuffy, where they sit you down, you sit in a chair, hope that you sit in a good chair with a good person, but to your left and to your right. While you eat, etc. I think standing up, moving around, and having a couple beers, I think there's some magic in that. But here's my point. I won't go to a networking function without gifts. Okay, so what I mean by that is I want to be Santa Claus. I don't want to be the Grinch. So let me frame this up. So I go to, if I'm going to, I'm going to go to a joint venture partner and I'll come back. So I go to a joint venture partner. What most people do is they go to the accountant and they say, send me clients. You do this for me, and then I will send you money, or I will do X. But you do it first. You go first, and then I'll go second. And you're the one that's putting out there to do the relationship, right? That's not going to get it done. So what I do is I go to the accountant, the bookkeeper, the networking organization, the advertising salespeople, the biz broker, the chamber of commerce, what have you. And I'll go to them and I want to gift them. I want to be giving them something, right? So if you work with our company, you have a membership site. The membership site, if you go to it online, it's $100 to $200 a month, but full value, it's $500, right? 500 times 12 is what? That's $6,000. So when I go to the accountant, I go to him and say, you must be battling, man. You must be answering so many crazy questions about marketing and business building and all this stuff that, frankly, you probably don't want to be answering. You're probably doing so much consulting, it's making your eyes water and pissing you right off. Look, let me do this. I want to gift you 3 memberships to my membership site. So when you meet that business owner that's too broke to pay attention, let alone pay your fees and whatnot, why don't you let me just give you 3 of these and just give them to somebody who needs, a strong step-by-step roadmap and that will probably follow it, but just isn't in a position right now to make it all work, or somebody that just needs a little bit of help. Would that be helpful, man? Could I give you those? Well, just imagine, like now I'm there, I'm gifting, I'm Santa Claus, right? Versus the Grinch, you do this for me, I'll do that for you. So with that as a framework, when I go to the networking function, I want to show up like Santa Claus. So I will show up, I'll ask the guy who's running it, how many people coming? He says 15 people. I'll get 15 of my books together. I walk in, and then basically everybody, when I do my elevator pitch, I would stand up and I guess I would gift everybody one of my books. And if I didn't have a book and I didn't have them printed, then I would go and I would have like a live event. Okay, so the reason I would go to the networking event is because I have a live event, right? So now I go, I want to get some people there. I stand up. I go, hey guys, oh, by the way, I'm running this event in 2 weeks' time. It's at the Chamber of Commerce. Again, whatever the dynamic is, but we can find $100,000 for anybody in 45 minutes without spending $1 on marketing or advertising. I'll be going through a lot of those principles, plus much more, what is and is not working in local with local marketing. And a lot of heavy hitter advertisers and marketers will be in the room as well when we tend to do a lot of back and forth. So if you'd like to come as my guest, we normally charge $147 to show up, but I tell you what, I just printed off these postcards for you. So let me give, how many are there's 15 people in here? Here's 15. Could you pass those around? If you guys would like to come, just go. You'll see there's a web address on there. Go there, opt in. You got to opt in so that I know how many people are coming and whatnot. So put your name and email address, and then I'll do whatever. I'll see you there. So then I came as a gift, right? Or I stand up and say, I can find anybody $100,000 in 45 minutes without spending $1 on marketing or advertising. I'll gift all 15 of you one of those consultations, right? The bottom line is that when you're going to networking and you're finding that the results aren't coming, you're probably, in sweetheart land. So you got to go there. You want to be respected, right? Like, again, you're not there to waste time. The thing ends. You're not hanging around just having, lightweight kind of conversations. Like if I'm going to sit there and I'm going to talk to you after a networking function, I'm there to do some business. I'm going to say, so tell me about what you do. Perfect. Okay, here's what I do in a really strong, direct way. So they're not going to come away saying, gee, this is the sweetest guy I've ever met. But I want them to go away going, holy smokes, like that guy's got his act together. That guy knows what he's doing. I feel like that kind of approach in a networking dynamic will always get you further. And always remember this, look, life is a mirror. So you're a sweetheart, you end up getting connected with sweethearts. If I'm a bad payer, I end up getting connected with bad payers. If I'm comfortable buying a $50 book, then I end up meeting up with people who are comfortable buying $50 books, but not $50,000 coaching and consulting programs. But as soon as I feel comfortable buying a $50,000 consulting program, magically I start feeling more comfortable selling a $50,000 coaching program. Like the principles that I just gave you guys, I promise you, like they're not my opinions, not my experiences. These are universal principles. You just won't get away from it. So life is a mirror, the end. And not, of course, now somebody thinks about the anomaly, but hang on a minute. There's anomalies in everything, right? But just on average, with 100% certainty, this is the way the world works. So you can fight it or you can profit from it. Again, I love studying billionaires, the Sam Waltons, the Jeff Bezos, the Bill Gates, etc. Um, you know, they they make hard decisions quickly. Okay, why? Indecision is a waste of bloody time. Like, you're better to make wrong decision and then know than you are to fart around and back and forth, back and forth. And that's not to say that they just make stupid decisions, but that is to say that hard decisions quickly is absolutely a trait of the uber successful. It's just what you got to do. I remember I bought a Jeep online. I was looking for a cool Jeep. I wanted I like my Jeep. So I'm looking around the internet, Google, they're smarter than any of us. All of a sudden they start following me around. I found this one. It's literally on the other side of the country. I could have bought a new one for less, but this is the Jeep that I wanted. The guy did a FaceTime with me. Nobody saw the car. I didn't see the car. I didn't fly in to see the car. I just bought it on the spot. I just went, yep, that's the Jeep I want, man. Package up, put it on the back of a truck, get it to me. I'm like, yes. Okay. So again, I just buy quickly. So anyway, so that's, and I'm not trying to put myself in any other category, by the way, to be, very clear. But that's just something that, indecision is an incredibly ineffective use of your time. So there you go, Road Dog. Life is a mirror is how I got off on that one. You're a great networker. You're probably a super sweetheart. I think you're attracting other super sweethearts. And those are the people that are, a little less successful on average in business. You don't want to be liked. You want to be respected. In the business. So, go ahead.
Did you listen? You mentioned Santa Claus. So did you want to give your Santa Claus advice of never have an elf that's taller than you?
Oh, why not? Well, actually, were you? No, you weren't. Oh my God, you heard about the 6'5" elf story?
Oh, dude, yes, of course I have. I've met Steve.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. There you go. But 6'5". So, guys, everybody listening, I had a party. I was going to get dressed up like Santa Claus. I told my buddy I call him 6'5" Steve, right? Stevie D, 6'5" Steve. Anyway, so he comes, but he thinks I'm going to be Santa Claus when he gets there. And he's 6'5", and he gets, and I don't even know this is happening, by the way. And the wives are in on it. He comes dressed as an elf. And he's looking at me, and oh my God, he's grabbing something. And plus, it was like a cloth. It was a nightmare. He was sweating his, what off. Anyways, and then he leans down to me. I swear to God, man, we still talk about this. It just piss our pants every time. He leans down to me, and again, I'm 5'6", he's 6'5", and he leans down and he goes, I feel like an idiot. And I just freaking laughed, man. I got photos of it. And he's running around like an elf. So eventually I went and then I put my Santa suit on, but that was in and around, 11:30 or whatever. And then we did this weird thing. But anyway, so I had a 6'5" elf. So there you go. There you go. So I don't think anyone can appreciate that story the way it actually happened. Probably not funny at all, but oh my God.
Dude, the visual of it, though, it's like, when was the last time you saw an elf towering over Santa Claus? Like, dude, that is so good. Like, so good.
God. It was.
Anyways, Karl, can you close us out with giving our listeners your one thing that they can do from today's podcast?
One thing, I think look, we talked about psychology a lot. Remember the chokehold on your business, my business, everybody's business is the psychology of the owner. Even that last bit where, you want to be liked, but, I'd rather be respected than liked. Like, that's what I'm going for here. I just think manage that psychology. Get really strategic with what it is that you're going or what it is that you're doing and where you're going. Saying no. Frankly, it's difficult. You got to, again, psychology. You want to say yes. I'd like to say yes too. But when I start realizing that when I say yes to somebody else, I'm saying no to me to a large degree. And that's not to say, I'm not, and I'm not trying to take everybody and turn them into, ruthless Gordon Gekko types, because I don't believe in that either at all. But I definitely believe that saying no is a superpower. So I'm just going to say that, man. Learn to manage psychology, understand the importance of it. No doubt you already do, but I'd like to challenge you to start again. And maybe everything you know psychology and how critical it is. I would challenge you to start again as though everything you knew and thought you knew about psychology was totally wrong. Well, what would it look like if you took a total, like Buddhism is about, taking a blank slate constantly, blank, 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 blank. Steve Jobs was a Buddhist, right? So take a blank slate and build up what psychology means to you and means to coaching and means to your clients again. And I'd wondered what you'd come up with and where you'd go. So there you go.
Awesome, bro. Awesome. Well, hey, everybody, thanks for tuning in to another great episode of Business Coaching Secrets with the man on top of the hill, my boy, King Karl. And if you're not getting Karl's daily emails or want more information on how to build your coaching company, visit focused.com and subscribe today. Also, if you enjoyed this podcast, please share it with an existing coach or someone you think would make a great coach, someone that loves Tony Robbins, Tony Romo, or Tom Brady. Or just a great salesperson, or just a highly motivated type. And of course, as always, we appreciate if you'd rate this episode, as we know that iTunes and Spotify gave an insane amount of weight towards reviews. So please leave us a review if you like what you heard. Well, that's it for another week. Remember, folks, progress equals happiness. Take care, everybody.
Thanks, Road Dog. See you, folks.
Karl Bryan built Profit Acceleration Software 2.0 to train business coaches how to find any small business owner more than $100,000 in 45 minutes without them spending an extra dollar on marketing or advertising. This becomes a business coach's superpower. So as a business coach, you'll never again have to worry about working with business owners that can't afford your high-end coaching fees. Check us out at focused.com.